of TOBlackTalks. Today we're joined by young black intellects to discuss domestic violence. Domestic violence is violent or aggressive behavior within the home, typically involving the violent abuse of a spouse or partner.
According to National Coalition Against Domestic Violence, on average, nearly 20 people are physically abused by an intimate partner in the United States. During 1 year, this equates to more than 10 million women and men. So the question for today is,
do you believe domestic violence has become a social norm?
Yes.
I feel like it's definitely normalized. Like, I know a lot of my friends that fight their significant others and think it's just like a thing.
and they think it's okay. Like, I think the biggest,
And
it's
cute.
definitely, I think the
Yes,
question we
it's nice.
asked was definitely on point because it's super, super normalized. Like, even when the little, like, oh yeah, if you wear that outside, you nigga gonna,
like
like all of that, that's, first of all, that's insecurity, but that's a whole nother conversation. Let's get into, yeah, that type of shit. It's like, no form of hitting your partner is acceptable. Females especially, and the reason why I say females especially is because I feel like a lot of females feel like, oh well, you know, I'm a girl and guys can't really hit girls, so I can hit you, you feel me, but you can't hit back. A lot, you'll be surprised, a lot of females have that perception, and I think that's stupid. I feel like if you're gonna hit somebody, be prepared to get your ass beat. That's just it. That's that on that. Like, you can't necessarily hit somebody and then be like, oh, well, you're a guy. You know you're stronger than me, so you don't do that. I disagree.
Not saying if a female gives you a little tap, you beat the shit out of her and then it's
Right.
okay. That's not okay. But if you get a tap, expect a tap back,
That's
not an
right.
ass whooping.
I mean, you can't tap nobody and expect nothing because you can't hit me and tell me how hard I should hit you back. It just don't work like that. You know what I'm saying? You can't be like, oh, well, I didn't hit you that hard. Well, you know, I didn't hit you in the first place and you hit me. So, like, you know what I'm saying? Where's the spectrum of how much you can do?
I feel like once somebody start putting their hands on somebody else, both should either take a step.
Yeah, bro. It's not. It's
Even
not.
if I don't care how it is, I don't care if it always start off by playing. I don't care how it come. Whenever that start coming into the picture, I need to take a step back and really set some boundaries because, like, I think it is a social norm now, especially like. And I think it's weird, and I think a lot of people get confused because they don't know if it's like okay in certain situations, if it's bad in certain situations, because you got females on social media like, oh, I like my dude aggressive.
Yeah.
I like getting hair beat the out of me, you know, like
Yeah.
you know, just
Put me in
saying
my
stuff.
place. Like,
Yeah.
why are you not
You're looking for
putting
a father,
yourself in your place? Father.
not a boyfriend.
Yeah, you know, weird stuff like that. And I don't know if it be fetishes, I don't know what it is, but it get crazy, you know? And then we got people getting beat, we got women posting pictures of themselves, and like everybody pointing a finger at just one person. No, it takes two to tango. And I always say that all the time because my mom, you know, always, you know, parents always say, somebody hit you, hit them back. Or if you a young black man, don't ever put your hands on a female. But now I'm starting to hear people, parents and stuff, tell them like, you know, if somebody hit you, you hit them back regardless if it's a boy or a girl because of like stuff like, and I think it's crazy, you know. So if it's gonna be like that, set boundaries because now it's no fair game. It's no, oh, you a female, and they not caring no more. People not caring. You know, keep your hands to yourself. Simple.
That's also one reason why I don't play fight. For
Mm.
me,
Yeah.
like, I have boundaries because
That's a little bit different. But
No,
play
but
fight.
But
I
like,
get it though.
if you hit me the wrong way, for me, like if I'm going like this, and I expect a like this back. But if I'm going like this and you punch me, just expect me to punch you back.
Right.
For me, like that's just how it is. Another thing though, I feel like religion plays a big role in
Really?
domestic violence.
Yeah.
Kinda. For example, I'm personally, yeah,
Oh.
I'm Muslim. So in Islam, the male plays a big role when it comes to a marriage or a relationship. For me, I feel like that's where people separate. Like, this is what I'm supposed to do, and this is what I'm gonna do. You get what I'm saying? I feel like in Islam, they'll be like, oh, like if your wife does something wrong, like put her in her place, but talk to her. For me, in the Quran, it's talk to her. Don't put your hands on her. You feel me? And I feel like that's where the man feels like, in order for his wife to listen or somebody, I have to hit her so that she'll hear me. But that puts fear into the table. Now she's not gonna wanna do nothing. Now she's not gonna wanna say nothing. You feel me? She's gonna be scared of you. You feel me? And that's the problem. I feel like religion, you know, people be, oh, my religion says I could do this. You get what I'm saying? But people don't know the limits to it. So
Same thing with Christianity.
Yeah, in the Bible it says Christ is the head of man and man is the head of the woman. So literally, it's like most religions they work in that ideology in that format, and I think that's weighs heavily on why the violence between men and women happen. I do think that we also need to be mindful to put into the conversation how men do get abused too as well. That's something that we neglect to talk about. I think for several reasons. One, because it's socially abnormal. We think of the man as the more dominant, figure. And two, because some men might be embarrassed to explain that has happened to them. So I think those are two major reasons why we don't hear a lot about it. But
most definitely speaking from like a guy's point of view, I feel as though it'll probably come off as emasculating because that's something you're not gonna see no dude come around his boys and be like, yo, I'm tired, she keep hitting on me, she keeping. That's something that's for most people what you see in your movies, what you see on the internet, or you seeing females coming out like that, like you see my dude, and that's what they gonna say and that's how dudes feel like people gonna come across if they put that out there and stuff. So we need to start just making it like I don't care if you're a guy or a girl, it's a serious topic, it's a sensitive topic. I don't like the fact that people only try to make it a sensitive topic for females, and when we talking about domestic violence, we talking about
it's
everybody
like,
we
they
talking
brush
about
it off.
everybody as a whole.
Like imagine a guy like me, 6 foot 220, beard, and the muscles
No,
like
there is a guy. There's an actor, and he was like,
Terry Crews. He was
and he said
Sexually
he was
assaulted.
sexually assaulted. Everybody
Yeah.
laughed at him
That's what I'm
for
talking
that, and I'm just like, yo, first of all,
Like,
like just they laughed at him because of the way he looks. I mean, this dude was in the NFL
yeah.
and all of that.
So
But
they
it's
assume
like,
he's violent.
yeah, they assume he's but he's not. He even said he's not, and like everybody just laughed at him and shamed him just because this happened.
Yeah, because they feel like he's such a big dude. You
Like
let
he should've-
this little white man grab your junk and not knock him out or something like that. But then again, like, that white man also had power too. He had the power to blackball Terry Crews and all of that. And he could lose his entire career. Even if Terry Crews was violent, it'd have been a wrong move for him to knock him out.
When Rihanna when Chris Brown beat up Rihanna, it was a joke to some people.
It's still
But you know what? We still. I think there's a conversation that's set to be had after that because didn't she hit him first?
Yeah.
See, but that goes into the problem. It's like he was absolutely wrong, but she was absolutely wrong because we can't necessarily say if she wouldn't have put her hands on him what we would have done. And I think even looking back at the perception on that situation is like we totally ignored how Chris Brown friend because granted he should have never beat the shit out of her, but that goes back to like you can't touch nobody. Like that's completely off limits. So it's like looking back at it now from this perspective, I'm gonna let Molly go after because I know you're dying. Looking back at it now, it's like, bro, who are you to tell someone how to feel about what has happened to them and how to react to it? But you're not responding to the initiator, Molly.
Oh, y'all know, like, I love Rihanna. Like, she has a special place in my heart. But, yeah, she was definitely wrong for putting her hands on him first. But I think it also stemmed from the fact that she grew up in a home where her father beat her mother. And I didn't grow up in that household, but it was revealed to me often. And I do realize that a lot of women become very, very aggressive to their partner when they grew up in a situation like that. And they're like as a defense mechanism, like, I'm gonna make sure this nigga know. Yeah. I'm gonna make sure this nigga know that he can't talk to me or treat me however he wanna treat me. And then because aggression was shown as a dominant person, if you're in a relationship as a woman and you want to make sure that this nigga, like, let me make sure this nigga knows who lays down the law and he can't do this, that, and third to me, it's going to come off with aggression. And the fact that, like, in the car they were discussing, it was a girl, I think. A girl had hit her up. A girl had hit him up that she already, like, told him, like, I don't feel comfortable with your relationship, whatever. And, like, that aggression and that, like, oh, like, you think you could do whatever you want around me, huh? Like, that's how it comes about. Because I can admit it has happened to me before. Like, I feel like I need to let you know that you can't walk all over me. And it comes out in aggression and comes out physically as well. So
that goes back, what T said, it goes back to what we were talking about earlier. You saying how just because you hit me softly doesn't mean that you're gonna get a soft hit back. But it also comes from a man being a man saying, you know what, yeah, she hit me, but I'm not going to harm her as such. Those pictures of Rihanna, she was brutally beaten.
yeah.
She was punched. He was punching her. for her to have a knot on her forehead. This is a hard cartilage
He said
right
he
here.
like slammed her head in the window too. Like
I think a lot of guys, they don't know how to, like when they're being hit, especially by a woman, they don't know how to
Differentiate.
they
Like,
don't
control the
control their
situation.
strength.
Mhm.
So like for example, like I know like if I'm being hit by anybody, I know how to restrain them without hurting them. So like I know like for example like if you're swinging your fists or you're swinging your hands, like I'm gonna grab your arms.
Yes.
I'm not about to swing back at you. I'm gonna grab your arms and try to control you without hurting you, and let you know like yo like this ain't cool.
But the thing is, we can't hold that standard that he's doing to everybody else.
Yeah.
Right.
That's what everyone needs to realize. Your moral standard is not everyone else. So if you go out here and you're living life by your moral standard and holding everyone else to it, you will be sadly mistaken and let go. For anything at all. So it's like, I don't care if she would have flicked him in the eye. Don't touch nobody if you don't want to be touched. Now, granted, he could have done that, but that's from me and my perspective. We said that. Well, you said that her experience growing up was going in a violent home. You don't know what his experience is to make him react to violence the way he does. You know what I'm saying? So people have to deal with
His
that.
mother was getting beaten
yeah,
by
they
his
both grew up.
stepdad.
So you
in
see,
violent
it's two sides to every
environments.
story. And I feel like we went really hard on her.
We don't know what happened behind closed doors. She might have admitted to that one time, but we don't know how many other times it could have been. And that could have been his breaking point. He could have just snapped. And all the anger that's been built up inside of him from all the other times she could have been from, we don't know. He could have just took it all out on her in that moment.
If somebody is like playing with you, ticking with you, like you feel me? If they like, all right, say for example, me and you, we in a relationship, right? You should know me and know what takes me off or what, you feel me? Like, I feel like you should know your partner to that point. And I feel like keeping it above. Sometimes the female knows what to do to get to the man. You get what I'm saying? Because a man knows how to keep their composure until like you.
But
I digress.
sometimes you meet somebody,
I feel
you
like-
do not know who they really are. You
Yes.
can go years with a person
And you don't
then
know.
this
That's
person
crazy.
just becomes somebody
That's
else.
crazy.
I think
Because
that-
that's a fact.
I think
That
that
is
everyone
crazy.
gets to a different point in their life where it's like if you get to this point in life of peace and oneness within yourself, can't nobody disturb that unless you let them. So I don't care what point you know. If I know that I'm not gonna give you that authority over me to get me to a certain level, it's just not gonna happen.
But then,
some people just don't have that level of control and restraint over themselves.
granted, but
We
then
need healing.
I know people who have like who are peaceful and all of that, but like there could be this one little trigger that
Triggers.
sets them off.
Triggers. That's what it
That
is.
sets like you feel me? People can keep their
Triggers are from
composure.
trauma, so you
Mhm.
gotta go back,
Right.
go back for that.
So
one.
if it's I could be Mahatma Gandhi. You feel me?
He was
but-
racist, so just so y'all know, you're not promoting him.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, he was racist. We're gonna talk about it later. You don't fuck with black people. We're gonna give y'all the facts on that later. That's a whole nother table talk.
People aren't learning each other. They're not taking the time to learn each other. So there's not that general respect like, oh, I love this person. I shouldn't put my hands on this person. It's, oh, you came for me, I'm coming for you. Because there's not that love
Tit for tat.
and that
No respect.
friendship. No,
Period.
Respect.
there's no building blocks.
And
It's just, oh, let's be together. Because
Or they think they know each other. Me personally, my ex from high school hit me. And I was so, like, I was taken back and I was like, because my mother raised me because it was exposed to us so much, the way domestic violence was exposed to us so much that my mom made sure that me and my sister knew, like, don't ever let no man hit you, don't ever let no man hit you. He hit me and I froze. I ain't even hit him back. And I'm a really aggressive person. So
You
the
took
fact
it
that
back.
I told my friend it happened. She was like, and you ain't hit that nigga back. And I was like, I was so shocked
Yeah.
that nothing, like I didn't know what to do. So I can't even look. When I see women who are in situations where they can't walk away, it's like, I don't even know how to explain or what they should do because it's like when it happened to me, I legit froze. I froze up. I was like, and I got up and tried to walk out, and he pulled me back in to be like, I'm sorry, this, that, and the third, whatever. And I know for a fact if I didn't come to college, I'd probably still be tied up in that situation because that emotional connection, it can really have you stuck.
When I was 15 at SYUP, I worked at this nonprofit organization for women who helped women who've been through domestic violence. And I was 15 meeting these grown women telling me that they got chased by machetes with men trying to kill them, literally trying to kill them. And it doesn't matter how much you know a person, they can always, if you drop a dish, they can always turn around and slap you. And then you're just shook. You're like, I thought you loved me. And I've met a lot of women, and it was so hard for them to leave.
That's true.
Yes.
It was so hard
You
for them
get
to
caught
leave.
up.
That
Your mind
realization.
is clouded.
And
So that's the next question I want to gear this question towards you. How do you think that emotional abuse or emotional manipulation, I would say, is as common as physical domestic
I think
violence?
it's way
I
more
want to pitch it to Natasha first, and then I'm gonna go.
Okay, rerun the question real quick.
So do you think that emotional manipulation, or I think emotional abuse is still domestic violence, just not physical?
It definitely is.
Yeah.
Like, just like the word like bitch, nigga, like people can take that in different ways from like their environment and stuff and how they've been already like taught about that word, you feel me? How they already experienced it in different ways. And then coming from like your significant other, that's OD. Like, why are you doing that?
I think it's definitely common in the Black community, especially starting with our parents. At least we get a lot of emotional and verbal abuse from our parents, and then we carry that into relationships, thinking it's normal.
A book by All About Love by Bell Hooks. That's an amazing book. I think everybody should read that. Like, I literally read that and decided that, like, I'm dead not beating my kids. That's a whole nother story. I'm gonna get into that. But the reason why I said that is that we grow up and it's like our parents show these these types of love, and that's all we know. So it's like, why do we expect people to know how to love if they've never seen an example of it? We just think like, oh yeah, you're just gonna grow up and know how to do. No, that's a learning process. And then it goes into also, everyone loves differently, and you have to learn how the person you want to be with loves. Alright, so we just want everybody out there, to be aware, be safe. If you're ever in immediate danger, please try to call 911, a friend, a hotline for any for anonymous confidential help 24/7. Please call the National Domestic Violence Hotline at 800-799-7233 or 1-800-787-3224.
So thank you guys for all coming out and letting us know how you guys feel about this topic. It was very informative, and it woke us up, opened our eyes. So thank you for tuning in to TOBlackTalks. Make sure you follow us on Instagram at TOBlackTV for all our updates, and like and subscribe. Thank you.
Show was all about